Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dakota Tidwell. This is for FTH 212's Striker Fire Handgun course through SDI. This is week 3. And this week we kind of break down our Palmetto State dagger a little bit and talk about some of the issues that could happen with that. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started here. So I have no ammunition on the table anywhere, no magazine or feed source. Firearm is here. But clear it, nothing in the mag well, nothing in the barrel. It is all clear all the way down. So everything is clear, ready to use. Before we start here, I got my gauges here. So I got my go no go gauges for 9mm. So for the first part here, perform a field strip and identify the main sub-assemblies this firearm can be assembled to. So we'll go ahead and break it down. So on these, you kind of just decompress the trigger, pull back just a hair, pull down the takedown bars, and then it should come right apart for you. Then you have your lower and your upper. You just take your main spring out, put your barrel down, kind of pivot it up, everything comes apart, and your slide is open. So obviously you have your barrel, got to have that in order to fire the firearm, otherwise you have nothing to carry the projectile up into. Guide rod, also a recoil spring, that helps the firearm cycle properly. Slide, obviously got to have that. Now, when you get into the frame here, so you have your trigger assembly on the inside here. So your trigger is connected to your trigger bar, which goes into the rear block where your sear and everything's at. These move together in order to make everything move smoothly inside the firearm and work properly within everything up the top here. Let's see here. So then number 2, describe operation and roll up various major components areas within this platform. Okay, I just did that. Identify areas that you would be most interested in viewing to properly determine functionality within this platform as well. Honestly, the most, the part that sees probably the most movement, other than the spring itself, is the trigger. That's really the most magnificent thing about a polymer frame handgun. There's not really much to them. Just everything with the trigger and the trigger bar and how it transfers all the energy from here into the striker. That's about it. So really, the more I guess you can learn about that, the more you're going to understand it. So I would say that. Demonstrate the operation of your instructor. I did that already. Articulate your level of readiness and performing troubleshooting work like this in the future. So polymer frame handguns I'm very familiar with. There's something that I mainly grew up around. It was my first handgun was a polymer frame handgun. I had a Glock 22 chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson, and it was a great handgun. I learned a lot about handguns and firearms in general from that particular handgun. And since then, Glock has kind of been my favorite style of platform. So this falls right in that category, the same as a Glock 19. A lot of parts are interchangeable, so on and so forth. So I think my readiness and ability in order to be able to work on those things is pretty high up there because I understand them, I've been around them, so on and so forth. So pretty familiar with them and whatnot. So I feel very confident, very comfortable that I could knock out majority of the issues that these things see and what people think is the issue, basically. All right, we're going to go on to part 2 here. So complete a headspace check in your firearm following the guidance you received in this course. Okay, so we can do that. So I got to reassemble this real fast here. So we'll go ahead and we'll put our barrel back in, seat that properly. You'll take your guide rod, make sure the smallest part of your guide rod, not the large head here, but the smaller part, goes toward the outside of the slide. Make sure that seats properly. Everything should stay in place when you hold it upside down. And then you'll take your slide and kind of put it in here like so. And these can be a little finicky, so you gotta kind of mess around with them sometimes, but then it should slide right on there. cycle it once, and that locks everything into place. Okay, so once again, everything is clear, nothing in the barrel there, and I'll even show you down it, nothing in the barrel, so we're all good there. So I'll go ahead and get my no-go gauges out. Maybe got to eat my Wheaties this morning. Alright, and I apologize to everyone, by the way, I'm actually really late on this assignment this week. So first we're going to start with the go gauge. So we'll go ahead and kind of lay that down in here. Okay, so as you can see, that is seated in there, and we are going to go ahead and close this. And as you can see, it's seated properly, no issues there. So that's what the go gauge is supposed to do. It's supposed to show you that you have the proper head spacing in between what would have been the face right here on the inside where your striker comes out at, and in between your barrel, so that everything seats properly, because everything is seated properly. So we'll go ahead and eject that. Okay, once again, show clear, nothing in the barrel, nothing in the mag well. And now we're going to go to the no-go gauge. Go ahead and drop that down in there. Okay, so that's seated. Okay, now first thing offhand, it won't close all the way. So you can see the guy rod still sticking out. The actual front of the slide is not flush against the frame, and the rear is still kind of separated out as well. So that means that it's improper size, or there's something going on inside your firearm. So this could be a matter of swelled ammo, or swelled casings, I should say. Your firearm having extra debris, or factory milling issues, so on and so forth, could be the issue with this. And you would have to go in and see what's causing it, obviously, to not seat. More than likely it's going to be something with your firearm, and not the ignition. So something you want to look into for sure. Alright, so let's see here. So the surfaces that dictate your headspace. So on the inside here, like I said, where your striker comes out at, this right here will dictate your headspace, as well as the breech of your barrel there. That's going to dictate your headspace. Now, this is a lot similar to a revolver. The only difference is the barrel in this stays where it goes. It doesn't revolve around or anything like that. And the breech face moves away from the barrel. That's the only, really, the difference there. But a lot of the same as a revolver in that sense. So, yeah, that's mainly it for this week. Hopefully I did everything properly, and we'll see you guys in week 4.